Hello and welcome to this video. For this one, I'm doing a short little video on the Matchbox 172 scale British Aerospace Hawk 200. This is the single-seater version of the Hawk trainer. And I wanted to do this as a follow-on to the earlier video that I did on the Matchbox Red Arrows Hawk. I picked this kit up in that little shop in Taipei as well. And at the time I thought it was a really nice find. It's not a very common kit. Not a common subject matter even for that matter. So Matchbox box, the black one with the house colors here, which means this is from the Revel AG era. Two colors, okay, and it's got a lot of Chinese words down here, which is why I know that this was from Taipei. Let me see. On this side here, you will see what the kit looks like in its two colors, without any paint. Okay, and the markings as provided. That's the price, 300 Taiwan dollars at the time, which works out to, I don't know, hazard a guess, divide by 40, or is it divided by 25? I don't know. I think it was divided by 40 or thereabouts, so it's less than 10 bucks Sing. PK46, and then it's got a repeat of the cover art there. Let me see, 1989, okay. And then on this side, same thing again, PK46, and a repeat of the box art. Okay. Now, this is the back, your typical Matchbox kit, right, of this scale, well, of any scale. And you have these little symbols. That tells me that it is Taiwan produced kit actually. Isn't it produced in Taiwan? I think so. Well, I mean, it's packaged for the Taiwan market. And again, lots of Chinese characters here. And then you have the markings options. And both of them indicate a prototype aircraft, okay? Or rather a demonstrator. This is the one which they trotted out at every air show just to show people what was available. And I think the idea behind the Hawk 200 was that it's supposed to be a single-seat, lightweight aircraft suitable for point defense or I suppose counterinsurgency. Okay, well, that's the thought anyway. I think let's pop this open. The box is in fairly good condition, and as you can see, I've already visited it once before. I think at the time when I first picked it up. Okay, I'm just gonna put this here. Instruction sheet. And the decals, okay, that's not too bad actually. And then we now look at the parts themselves. Now, I have put all the parts into a nice Ziploc bag, and the decals as well. So I think even at that time, I thought it was a really, really lovely kit, worthy of this kind of level of protection, right? So let's just pull this out and let's have a look. Okay, including that that certificate, right? It was inspected, I think, 3rd of May 1997. Okay, all right, good. Now let's look at the instruction sheet. Instruction sheet is a single A4 size sheet. Okay, that's the history. Okay, and then you have the markings options and where to put everything. Okay, let me see. Well, this is Farnborough 1986, and this is somewhere else, May 1986. Okay, I'm thinking a what if aircraft. If you've seen my video on the Hawk, Red Arrows Hawk, right, from Matchbox, it comes with very nice Finnish Air Force markings. Now picture this, a Finnish Air Force Hawk 200. Okay, that should be fun. Okay, let me see. Okay, step 1. Fuselage halves go together. There's some kind of instrument box, which takes the space of the second seat, I suppose. And then there's the pilot seat, and then there's control column right there. Okay. Then you have the jet intakes being assembled here, and then they both go on together with the single piece canopy and the air intakes and the pitted tube. It's a bit early for the pitted tube, but okay, it's there. I wouldn't put it on then at that time. Stage 4, stabilizers going on, and again, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the stabilizers have that little downward slope. What's it called? Dihedral. Okay. So just to keep that in mind, we'll see whether the stabilizers have that slope as well on their mounting tabs. Stage 5 is the undercarriage, main undercarriage and main undercarriage doors. And then at stage 6, you have the wings being assembled and installed on the fuselage, the completed fuselage. Okay, and then at stage 7, you have the installation of the undercarriage doors, flap actuators, and the little strakes which go onto the bottom rear of the fuselage. Very familiar, similar to the one that I saw in the Red Arrows, the Matchbox Red Arrows Hawk kit. And then here you have the pylons and 2 long-range fuel tanks. Now, I could play around with this actually. You see, the long-range fuel tanks could come off. It comes with a separate nose, right? I could use this, combine it with the gun pod in the Red Arrows Hawk aircraft kit, and then create that smoke generator. I could, depending on how big this thing is. I could also bring the Matra rocket pods over here then and put them here. Okay, and put the long-range fuel tanks on the Finnish Hawk. I could do that too. But that's it. I mean, it's a very straightforward kit. And then you have the detail painting, should you wish to do it up. But if not, you can just build that. Now, let's look at the parts. First of all, I've got me the transparencies here, and very nice. It comes in 2 pieces. Okay, let's pop that open. Very nice. Okay, shape wise, looks pretty good actually. Clear, not much no distortion at all. This looks good. Okay, let me see. That goes back into the bag. I like that actually. Then we have decal sheet. Let's look at the decal sheet. Okay, I had a shock at first when I was trying to get the bag and I found that it was stuck. And then I remembered that, yeah, this is one of those bags which I recycled from my doctor's. And okay, the decal sheet is in very good condition. You got a whole bunch of low visibility RAF markings, which is good. These have got the Legend Hawk 200 on either side. But then you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means I've got all the decal markings I need for the usual 6 positions. Everything looks to be decent and in register. So I could combine these and turn this into an operational aircraft. But the UK never used Hawk 200, right? And I can't imagine that it would have a use for the Hawk 200. I mean, the Hawk trainer alone would be sufficient. So it's got to be one of those smaller air forces, you know, Brazil, Venezuela, you know, one of those. Yeah. So a spare set of decals like that would help tremendously in this regard. Now, that's the Hawk 200 fuselage and the single seat arrangement, right? You can tell immediately that this was the origin. The original was a 2-seater, right? And then what they did was that they just created a bigger cockpit area here for the single pilot. right? And a bit more of a hump. So it looks a little bit more aggressive. But, you know, the model looks much better than the illustration. I think the illustration looks a little bit swollen. This one looks very nicely balanced, I think. Okay, very good. Plastic quality, let's have a look at that. I like this. Yeah, I like this because there's a nice gleam to it. Heavy recessed panel lines here, on top here. But under a coat of primer and a bit of paint, they should work. Okay. Now those two pieces came from this sprue. Let's have a look at the wheels. Very nice. Undercarriage. Those are the actuators for the flaps. That's the pitot tube. That's the air intakes. Those are the wheels again. Okay. Nose wheel. Looks very workmanlike, very simple, but I'm thinking that's what it looked like originally anyway. Okay. So now we come finally to this, the last sprue. Fuel tanks. Now these look kind of big. Okay, so maybe I might have a problem using them as the smoke generator tank. Those are the noses of the fuel tanks. Okay. The quality of the plastic here is really nice. I like this. Wing pieces and the wing inserts are here. Okay. Let me see. Stabilizers have got the correct angle molded in for the dihedral. And then that's the seat again with that little indentation. I'm wondering now, that indentation doesn't look like a sink mark. It looks more like like it's supposed to be where the head fits, right? Yeah. Okay. These are the wing inserts for the main wing, and where the undercarriage would go, and then those are the little slots for the flap actuators. Recessed panel lines throughout for the main wing. Quite deep actually, but again, under a coat of primer and paint, it should be okay. Good. I like this kit. I think it falls into the category of buildable. And it's got all the pieces in it. I will just put these away carefully just to make sure that nothing falls off. I was just looking at the table and I found a wing leading edge landing light piece, and I was wondering which kit it could have been. So I backtracked and I found that it was actually from the Blenheim. So these things happen. I have to be very, very extra careful. That's probably one reason why I put this into a Ziploc bag. I think, it's not easy to find a Hawk 200 kit. I don't think it's been kitted by anyone else. And definitely, I'll have to hunt for it. But in 48 scale, I doubt it. It would look good in 48 scale, to be honest. And I, for one, would definitely want to pick up one if I can find it. I just picked up the F20 Tiger Shark. I picked up a couple actually from Hasegawa, and I plan to do those in what-if markings. One of them could be in the Air Force of a Southeast Asian country of some kind. The other one could be Singapore, or I could also do one in and that's the intention, aggressor markings. I've got a spare set of aggressor markings lying about, courtesy of viewer Appcaxi. Thank you very much, sir. I have a set of decals which I can use for the F20, and I can mark it up. So that's it. British Aerospace Hawk 200, a very unusual subject matter, done by Matchbox. Who else? Really, I think Matchbox in their day was like the guys who would do the unusual kits, right? Along with Frog, But I don't think anybody would have bothered to cut a mold for this. simply because it was not an aircraft that was well used. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think the only users were the TNI, the Indonesian Air Force. Okay, and I've seen kits of that aircraft. Maybe I'll pick that up. That's where it's from. HobbyBoss. HobbyBoss has a 148 scale Hawk, and it's got TNI markings. I'll look for that. I'll pick that up, and if I get that, I'll definitely share that with you guys. Okay. So it remains for me to say thank you very much for joining me. It's a bit of a quick video. A lot of the stuff that you see inside here has already been repeated, or rather has been covered in the Hawk Red Arrows kit from Matchbox, and I've done a video for that. You've seen the fuselage, and as I said, the fuselage is a lot nicer than what you see down here. I suspect this kind of like turned a lot of people off. It just looks very, very stubby. Whereas as you can see from the other from the real fuselage which I showed you, it's very much more elegant and refined, right? So that's one reason why I do these videos, because then you get to see what's actually inside, right? Speaking of, maybe I will do other Matchbox kits which look really nasty on the outside, but look really good on the inside. I'll show that to you. I think I'll do that. I'll find that. So thank you very much. Until my next video, please do stay safe. Watch out for the knife blades. Spray and paint in a well-ventilated area. Do not use your solvents next to a flame. Do not use a flame next to your solvents. And have fun. I had fun sharing this with you. I had fun buying this kit and picking it up all those years ago. It's brought back so many memories for me. And I have to thank you for the opportunity and the platform to do this sort of videos, and also to kind of like relive again the little fun that I had trudging through Taipei, finding that little shop, and finding this kit. It's always nice to go to these little shops and then, find a little gem like this, right? So I'm looking forward to doing more of these videos, and hopefully on my next trip out, I get to hit a model shop where I can find gems like this. And when I do, I will share them with you. Until then, take care, and I will talk to you again very soon.